Hello, you're listening to the Honey Tomato Podcast. We'll be talking about webcomics, manga, video games, and other related topics on our show. Thank you for tuning in. Today is May 16th, 2016, and this is episode 3. Hi, I'm Charlotte. I'm a design student and traditional artist, and this is my co-host, Helen.
Hi, I'm a pixel artist and writer, and we actually have a special guest today.
Hi, I'm Natalie. I'm a writer, mainly short stories and screenplays. I'm also a gender studies and psychology double major.
So today we actually don't have a sponsor, so if you're interested in sponsoring this podcast, please tweet at us at SnappleGel on Twitter.
So our first segment today will be talking about our webcomic, Prague Race. It's a comedy horror story, and it offers a softly satirical view of the fantasy genre. It might have some heavy imagery, and it's not exactly suitable for minors or sensitive readers, but it's actually really great if you're just starting out in webcomics, I think. If you're just interested in finding something that draws you in, this is perfect for you. So Prague Race starts out as some sort of confusing slice of life for me personally, and I didn't really understand it, but it soon turned away and became way more horrific than I thought it would be, and I liked it, and that's why I kept reading. So the genre is actually more dark fantasy / folklore, and it could count as horror for some people, so yeah, just watch out when you're starting it. So I really liked the first few chapters, but not as much as I liked for the rest of the webcomic that has come out recently. Actually, it turned on it took on a whole different tone.
Yeah, so I've actually been following the artist Lepu for a very long time, probably since middle school.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's been a pretty popular artist for a long time before she started the webcomic. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about the art. I really like the style that it has. It's sort of pencil art, but it still looks really polished and finished. So that's usually not something you would associate with pencil art, because often when people see pencil they think it's sketchy or unfinished, but I really think that it suits the style of the comic. It's sort of has kind of a little, not a gothic feel, but it's sort of like the black and white and the use of sort of watercolory textures and as well as sort of pencil smudging and things like that. Really, I think suits the tone. And right. I also really like the way that she draws people. It's I wouldn't call it a Tumblr style. It's kind of it takes certain certain stylistic elements that resemble it, but I would say that it still looks, it still looks really good.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of wanted to put that out there. But yeah, I've read a couple of chapters of it too, and I agree that there's sort of a weird, at the beginning at least, it's sort of weirdly, the humor is a little it's slice of life, but there's it's sort of jarring.
Strange.
Yeah, sort of, because there is the fantasy elements are there, but they're just sort of weirdly not mixing with the slice of life part of it. So
absolutely.
But yeah, definitely a cool comic though.
Yeah, I found this on thehiveworks.com actually. If you go to hiveworks.com, it's a completely different site.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, but thehiveworks.com, you'll find a lot of great comics on there, and that's where I found Prague Race. And unlike the other comics on that website, this one is completely in black and white. I think I don't remember really seeing other ones in black and white, although different tones, yes, but like this, not really. So yeah, it's definitely unique in its own way like this.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you're right. It's really bold for a webcomic to be in black and white, because I know many people, when they talk about webcomics, they like the color, they like how crazy artists will get with it. But I completely agree. The black and white is what kind of got me. When I first saw it, it was interesting to me. The pencil mixed with the watercolor. It's just, it adds a really good feel to it. You can tell what kind of genre it is from the art.
Yeah, I know that's something that I'm personally, I don't really, it's not that color isn't great. There's a lot of really beautiful color comics, but it's not the most important thing to me in a comic.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when I hear people say, oh, this comic isn't in color, and so the artist isn't working as hard, it's sort of, yeah, it's not because I think, obviously this is a stylistic choice. The art is still fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's probably enhanced by being in black and white. So I think that as a stylistic choice, it was really good.
I feel just as how successful it is, at any point along the way, she could have turned it into a full color, but she didn't. She chose not to, and I think that's great.
It just matches the tone of the story, so.
Definitely.
But yeah, getting into what actually Prague Race is about, it's a story about Leona, who, well, she's one main character, and she finds a freaky poster from this gift shop that ends up causing her to be cursed, which leaves her with only a year to live. And this results in a dark fantasy adventure. So it culminates into this adventure. It starts off really slow, but it becomes this adventure, so it's really great.
Yeah, I also like the sort of three main characters, so I really like sort of like the banter that happens between Colin and Leona.
It's really cute.
Yeah.
They're funny.
But I definitely hate Leona as a character. Like, I just don't think she's likable. I didn't like it at all. And I think if you keep reading, you'll see why, because there's some part, you'll hate her, too.
I mean, all I saw her was a bit, because I haven't read too far into it, I see she's a bit eccentric, but
yes.
I feel like I really haven't gotten to know her character yet. Mm-hmm. All I know is that, like, I like her dynamic with her friends so far.
Right.
Yeah. But maybe if I could keep going, I'll see what you mean.
Yeah.
I haven't really got into character development yet.
To our next segment. So for this week's anime, we're going to be talking about Kuma Miko. This anime is about a young shrine maiden who has spent her whole life in the rural mountains with Natsu, her talking guardian bear. So now she's 14 years old and she wants to take a chance and attend a high school in the big city. Basically, the plot of the show is her really wanting to go to the city and Natsu the bear sort of trying to hold her back. And that's kind of like the crux of the conflict of the show and also sort of the comedy of it.
Yeah. It's really cute. I really like it.
It's very cute. It's also a little weird.
Yeah.
So when
my God.
When Helen recommended me to watch this, I was like watching it, and the first half of the first episode is it's like, oh, this is gonna be probably kind of heartwarming.
Yeah,
it's gonna be sort of
nice.
like a, not Ghibli-esque type thing, but sort of, it's like sort of folkloric. And then the second half. Basically, in the second half of the first episode, sorry, this is gonna be spoilers for you guys, but the main character's like cousin is like bringing these like 3 9-year-olds to the house, and he's gonna be telling them about like the myths of the village. And so he's like, okay, well, one myth of the village is that the original priestess of this village had sex with a bear, and that's why all the bears can talk.
And that's why we understand them.
And I was like, oh, bestiality is happening. Okay, first episode.
Very casually as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was very scandalous, I think. I was not ready for it.
Yep.
I could tell it was not geared towards, like, girls.
Yeah, definitely not.
Definitely not.
Definitely not geared towards children or girls.
No.
Or, yeah. I was honestly thinking, I was like, oh, is this going to be a show for kids? Because, it's got a bear in it. Bears are cute.
Yeah.
Not for kids, probably.
No.
Nope.
And apparently the genre is seinen, which is, like, marketed towards adolescent boys and, like, men. And it's so weird. I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
I don't really like it like that. I feel like if they had gone straight just shoujo for girls, it would have been like
the heartwarming anime that we expect. Because I feel like even in the first half, there's like shots of her that are a little bit I don't want to say sexualized. I want to say fetishized. Like the little girl like crying or like like oddly cutesy, not naturally.
Yeah.
And I think it definitely goes into that theme of like fixation on young girls that happens in anime a lot.
Oof.
Which
Rough.
Which I thought it was cute, but it was there.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's definitely like something I was sort of like, that's like
ding ding, like
little
something,
little ping up there. I was like, that's happening. And then the bestiality part happened. I was like, oh, never mind about all that.
Yeah.
There's like a different thing happening altogether.
Something even more extreme.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree that, that's probably my biggest problem with like seinen as a genre, because I think there's a lot of really cool work in seinen, but there is some work, there is like sometimes a little too much fixation on the girl characters, and you're just like, let's pull that back a little bit.
I don't like it.
Yeah. But otherwise, I think, there are some like kind of interesting, or not interesting, but there's some like funny jokes in it besides all that. There is like sort of a weird, like, she does, the main character is supposed to be sort of like this country bumpkin who doesn't understand how cities work.
She's so cute.
Yeah, she's like really, she's actually cute in those scenes where she doesn't know what, like, she's like, oh, or I think there's like a scene in the second episode where he's like sort of giving a pop quiz. He's like, how do you get on a train? Do you use like
that was so good.
Oh, where it's like to use banana, apples, or lemons.
And she's thinking,
she's like, oh, I don't know.
And she's thinking it's like some sort of barter system and then trading. And that was like, yeah, okay. And then they do all these like weird name drops too. That he's like, oh, maybe I should use Microsoft Word to type this. I'm like, Microsoft Word, okay.
Like Natsu knows so much about like all this electronic shit.
I know. It's like next episode he's gonna pull out his like Excel spreadsheet and do like pivot tables or something.
And she's gonna be like, what are you looking at?
Considering he's her guardian, he hasn't helped her very much, like, understand it.
Yeah.
They actually talk about that later. That's a conflict. It's like, Natsu, are you doing your job? Like, like you say you're helping her, but are you really helping her?
Yeah.
And then,
like, you're a bad parent sort of thing.
Basically.
Yeah. My favorite character is the blonde girl, the, like, delinquent
Oh my
girl.
gosh.
I love those types of characters. I, like, eat it up every time. I don't care how many times, like, a delinquent character comes into a show. It's always, like, the same character, but I'm always like, yes, she's back.
I get what you mean, because I saw her in the opening, and I'm like, I am gonna love her.
Yeah.
Like, I know me and her are gonna have a connection.
Yes.
Like, even though I'm a goody good.
Yes.
Yeah. But there's one more scene that, like, is kind of sexualized, just to warn you guys, is, like, the part when they have some kind of costume competition.
Oh, no.
And it's like, you know, let's all make costumes for her, and then there's, like, they're really sexualized. Like, not just gonna straight out say it. It's just bad. And then all the, like, 50-year-old men are like, let me see.
Ew.
It's bad. It's
Ew.
bad.
Oh, my
I
God.
hate
So
that.
gross.
It's really gross.
Hate when they, like, it's like, it's already like, oh, you're like, you know, you got the little girl in sort of like a sex outfit, but then they have to like acknowledge that there's like 50-year-old mom too. It's like,
bad.
No, don't do that.
It's terrible.
Ew.
It's just so frustrating because I think it's generally very cute, and it's so annoying to have that aspect just within the anime as well. Like,
It's not needed.
it's not needed at all, but it's
Yeah.
not made for us. It's made for someone who wants to look at cute girls, young girls.
That's like, I guess, male demographic 18 to 30 or whatever the demographic is. But yeah. I wonder, I was looking at it, I don't know how well it's doing actually. It was, or like, it's sort of like,
It's not doing well.
it's like sort of like on the lesser popular stuff, so it's not like the big anime. I mean, I guess like Boku no Hero Academia is like the big thing right now.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Boku no Hero like stole the show. Have we talked about that yet?
Yeah, we talked about it last episode.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
have you seen it actually, Natalie?
No, it's on my list. I heard it was coming out, and I heard it's awesome.
Yeah, I recommend reading it. Actually.
Reading it?
Oh my god, the art is really, really nice.
It's
in
good.
there. But yeah, I definitely think that's sort of like, for me, the biggest, like, that was like the issue I had with it. There's sort of like some, you know, jokes that are a little off color. For the most part, it's pretty cute though.
Yeah.
If you're able to sort of get past that. But
The art is really cute. The insecurities of a little girl, like, her age is cute because it's like, man, I kind of relate to you in this way.
Because you were raised by a bear.
Yeah, I was raised by a
Basically.
bear
In the mountains.
just so you guys know, Helen was raised by a bear, so this show is like particularly hits her.
It does.
Like, she cried the first time we watched it. It was intense.
It's hard to talk about it, you know?
Yeah. But definitely I think like sort of the theme of having like a sheltered girl who really wants to understand things better but doesn't is kind of like yeah, there's something kind of like heartwarming about that, and you're sort of like, oh, you want to root for her and stuff. And yeah, and I think like the comedy that comes from that is pretty cute and pretty funny and stuff. The show's only I think episode 6 or 7 now, so
Only 6 or 7, yeah.
yeah, so it's, you know, I don't know where the show will develop from there, but be interesting to see sort of the road it takes.
You know what's funny is that if you're on the quarter system for college, you have like a season of anime for each like anime season. Have you noticed
basically.
that?
Yeah.
Because it's like week 8 for us, and it's like all the episodes are like episode 7 if you're keeping up with the current ones. So it's about the same.
It's about the same. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Actually, that's true. I never really noticed that, but that's true.
Right?
Yeah, on the quarter system,
perfect.
you're basically on the anime systems.
Perfect procrastination
Yeah.
system. But yeah.
It definitely has one of the cutest openings I've seen.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my
yeah.
gosh, the opening is so cute.
Like, I love, like, colorful openings like that. And
Yeah.
the song is just adorable.
The question is, when are they going to France? Like, it's like all this French,
Yes.
like, you know.
I know. I was like, we talk about Tokyo this whole time, but like, clearly that's not where the
she
show's
wants to go to
going.
France.
Clearly, she's gonna be taking a plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's going in like what's the cab? You know, there's like cabin where the pets go.
The
Like, if
cabin where the pet... What?
I think it's
You
just
know,
cargo, isn't it?
Oh, is it cargo?
He was in the cargo?
No,
What?
that's how you would have to get to France.
What?
Because
But he can
obviously, if you're
talk
taking
human.
a plane, then you got to go in a plane, and they don't let animals into the.
You could
the
buy,
rig-
like, an adult seat.
I'm assuming
guess.
that
He'll
everyone
terrorize
in
everyone.
Japan knows about this bear thing.
No,
Like, I
remember
feel
they
like it's a
said-
mountain thing.
Yeah, it's
They
true.
said it's like a mountain thing.
It'll
They were all like,
terrorize
it's a
everyone.
village thing, and they're like, no one can talk about it
The bears
because
gotta
it's
go
like
in cargo.
bestiality and people don't get it.
It's gonna
People
be
just don't
so
get it.
awkward.
Yeah.
So awkward. Why do these bears talk? Well, you see, you know.
Well,
We had this lady. Men were not good enough for her.
Oh
She
my
was
gosh.
like, I need a real man, and by that I mean
a
I need
bear
a
of a
man.
man.
Or
Yeah.
maybe just a bear.
it's like somebody took like, you know, bears, wink, but kind of not the right subgenre, I guess. She took the whole bear culture thing a little too literally, if
Oh
you know
my
what I mean.
gosh.
Oh, now I get it.
Yeah.
Lamau.
Oh boy.
Anyway, that would actually kind of be an interesting show.
I would not watch that
Some
show.
gay dude and an actual bear. That'd be awkward.
Oh my god. You can write this. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
what you can
happen,
do. That'll
Charlotte.
tell you make your mark.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what? There's
Make it
all sorts of. I mean, honestly, guys, just between me and you guys and the viewers, like furry commissions, that's where the money is.
It is.
Like that
She's
is where the
right.
money is.
Have you seen Patreon
If you go on
recently?
Patreon, the furry like not safe for work artists are making bank.
Yeah.
So
Oh my god.
like no, I'm serious. I think they're gonna be taking out their like retirements early. They're gonna be like riding this wave. I don't know.
For sure.
I've honestly thought about it. I've been like, should I just start taking furry commissions? Because these
And I
guys
told
pay.
you several times, yes, Charlotte, do it. Begin.
Wait, so
commit.
furry as in like the people who think they're animals?
Well, okay, it's complicated, I guess, but like,
It's hard to say.
it's hard to say. Well,
I'm pretty sure there are subgenres. Like I
Yeah.
have friends who like know like the differences between full body versus like neko, like what is it called?
This is a complicated culture.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
No,
sort
there's
of like a
something-
broad culture.
It's like there's like neko mimi. Do you know what?
Oh
that-
yeah, like just
like the girls
ears.
who wear only the ears or they have the tail, but they're not full body like
Yeah.
animal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, like to be honest, even Disney is getting in on this. You know, like Zootopia.
Zootopia.
Oh, guys, Zootopia.
That's such a new
we
social
can't.
media thing.
We can't lie. Zootopia was clearly the furry demographic was in mind.
Yeah,
Like I saw the
for
movie and I
sure.
was like, "There's no way they didn't know." Like
Yeah.
the tigers were just a little too lovingly rendered.
I like animals now.
Helen, please.
I'm joking.
I thought. I wonder if is this where we decide like the show is like not made for all audiences? Is this the show?
This is the moment, you
Sorry,
guys.
guys.
Well, you have to
When
put a
we re-
warning at the beginning.
When I release this, I'm gonna have to say like, I'm sorry, this is not intended for all audiences.
Yeah. Anyway, Zootopia was good though. Maybe they'll. I wonder if they'll mention Zootopia in Kuma Miko. I wonder if it'll just come up at some point. She's gonna be.
She'll relate with the rabbit. I
Aw,
forget her name.
That's true. The rabbit. Rabbit's like a country bumpkin.
And she
Have
doesn't
you
know
s-
about the city.
She doesn't know about the city.
Yeah, you guys are
Just
right.
like
It
her.
just clicked. I was like, what do you? Which rabbit?
So
And I was like,
she's gonna go to
oh.
the city and become a cop. This is where the anime is going.
becomes a
Yes.
cop.
Yeah.
At 14.
At
Yeah.
14.
Natsu's gonna be like, no, I went to Zootropolis the other day.
Yeah. Yep. Being around humans is kind of a drag. So.
Yeah.
So moving on to our next segment, we have for this week's video game, A Dark Room by Doublespeak Games. I feel like this is a game that like the less you talk about it, the better it is for you guys because, well, I'll sort of explain sort of like what the first thing you see is. It's like a super minimalist text-based presentation. It's like a white screen, black text, and like all it says is like a room. The room you're in is really cold, and the only thing you can do is like light a fire and like keep stoking the wood. And that's like the only game mechanic you have for like a couple minutes. And then eventually there's like a wanderer that stumbles in, and so you can just keep sort of stoking wood. And eventually you can like go outside and get more wood, and then eventually the wanderer will be able to sort of like use the wood that you're collecting bit by bit and build like a house. and the game sort of goes from there. So I'm gonna sort of like stop talking about game mechanics from there. Helen, you said you've played the game a little bit before, right?
I think it's more of like, if you remember the game like a long time ago, like lollipops, it had to do with like clicking or like, you know, maintaining a constant income of lollipops, and then you do something with those lollipops, or I'm sorry, it's candy, and then you can get lollipops later. There's a text-based game like that. And then this one is kind of like a risk-based game. You like have certain risks that you can put in to get a certain outcome. It's all kind of like vague in this sense because I don't want to like spoil it, because I actually have no idea where it gets to, but it eventually does go somewhere that Charlotte knows about. I don't really know about.
Yeah, so I finished the game completely. I basically like played the whole thing like in several hours over the course of like 2 days technically, and I think I almost missed class for it because I was like I'm a little bit compulsive when it comes to games like this, because I'm like, you know, you just keep clicking and like it's just like 5 more minutes because I'll get like enough wood to make like another hut.
You can't pause it?
I mean, it's not that you can't pause it. It's like, it's just that, like,
you have no control.
It's so easy to keep going, you know? It's sort of like the potato chip type of game, you know? Where just like, I'll just keep eating. Anyway, but the game is just also interesting in that it's, like, so minimalist, but it's very, like, it sort of evokes, like, it evokes, like, a world. You'll sort of, like, I really feel like people who are listening should just play the game and sort of experience it for themselves. But you'll see that, like, the minute, like, nothing is like shown really, like the whole thing is like not visual at all. It's like all sort of reading, but even so you sort of get like a very like the text and the prose that it uses is like super minimal but very like evocative, and yeah, it's a really interesting game. So I was and also it's sort of interestingly there's like a iPad version of it too, but the iPad version like does like a super different or it takes like a really different turn. So it basically like, well, okay, so I think it's kind of a spoiler to say, but like there's like one aspect of the game that's like really different from the desktop version. So I kind of prefer the desktop version personally.
Is it a spoiler? Can you share with us? Is it that bad?
It's kind of a spoiler.
Okay.
Eventually you get like all these villagers, right? Because they're coming into your different huts. And I think eventually in the desktop, not in the desktop, in the iPad version, your villagers can then be like reclassified as like slaves.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. That's what mine did.
Oh
yeah.
Really?
gosh.
I had the iPhone version, and it did that. And another difference, I don't know if yours does this, but when you're running low on fire, your screen gets darker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like really scary actually. That's why I thought it was like a horror game initially, because I played it before, but I was like, this is kind of ominous. I turned my people into slaves. I don't know if I like this really much.
Very.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like, what's kind of interesting about the game is that it's sort of like, you don't really know what you are actually, like in like sort of in the game. Like you obviously you're the player playing it, but like your character in the game, like as you play the game, at least on the desktop version, it like becomes more and more apparent that you're like not what you think you are.
Oh God, what does that mean?
You're not a god, but you're sort of like
devil.
No, you're sort of like an alien.
Oh,
what?
I'm freaked out now. I'm scared. I don't know about you,
that's
but
so creepy.
But I mean, it's
right?
honestly not as creepy like in the game.
Oh my god.
It's just sort of like you know how things work, like, or there's like there's things you can pick up, and it's like, oh, I guess that's the character you are.
Now I have to put another warning on this one where it's like we talk about some creepy shit up here. Like,
so it feels basically like an alien has like a box with people in it, and it's like giving it stuff until it like has more people. I don't think that's what it is, but that's what I'm imagining in my head now.
It's kind of like I feel like we should just say this is going to be like a spoiler review of the game.
That's fine.
I want to know.
Spoilers for A Dark Room. But anyway, I would say it's sort of like a post-apocalyptic type thing. And I think you're supposed to be kind of an alien that's like not from Earth. And then there's all these like people around it. I'm not sure if they're aliens or not.
And you're manipulating them essentially.
Well, I mean, you're helping them too. You're like, I mean, you're the one who's like building the huts and gathering the wood and like sort of managing.
You're making
your
a community,
village.
But
you're making a community
of slaves.
Yes.
So in the iPad version of slaves, that didn't happen in the desktop version.
Dang.
So, you're kind of like a nice alien in the desktop version. And I guess you're like a mean alien in the other one.
That's
but
scary.
is it bad I kind of like the main alien version? Just because it's, like, creepier, like...
I think that's why...
Yeah.
I think that's why
It's
the
all right.
developer did that, is probably because it's sort of more, like, morally ambiguous.
Yeah, you're not
Like-
a bad person, though.
I'm not a bad person for
Preferring.
preferring
Yeah.
the slave version.
Yeah, I guess that's fine.
But yeah, so the desktop version and the iPad version have sort of differences in that regard. But it is, like, a really interesting game. I feel like we talked a lot about it. I feel like, spoiler warning, but it's too late for that anyway.
It's all right. Yeah.
Um,
It's gonna be fine, like, spoiler-wise, because people don't really have, like, an idea of what it is in general.
yeah.
Even when you're playing it, you're, like, you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So,
I feel like the spoilers might grab more people's attention, too.
yeah.
Because, like, when I was playing it, I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And now that you've explained more, like, I want to keep playing it.
Yeah.
It just sounds really interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's sort of, that being said, though, I say all these things, like, there is, like, world building like that, but for the most part, it's very, like, methodical. Like, it's not, the game itself is sort of like you're collecting resources for the most part. It's kind of like, you know, Cookie Clicker?
Yeah, that's the kind of games I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
With the
So it's-
candy clicking, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what you're doing. Except
Yeah.
you're not just clicking one thing, you're clicking, like, several things.
Yeah.
And then you sort of get to choose what you can make from those things. But, like, mostly it's just, like, a clicking game. So the mechanics are pretty simple for the most part. But yeah, but like within that, there's sort of like these different world building things that happen. But it's pretty subtle. But yeah, even so, pretty interesting game.
So let's move on to personal recommendations, and let's see. The first thing we're going to talk about is a really new comic that just came out recently, about like a couple days ago. I don't know, like May 12th, sorry, I think. And it's Lady of the Shard by Gigi DG, and it's a comic about an acolyte who falls in love with this goddess that she serves. And it's basically one of the best comics I've read in like a short period of time. And it's like super, I don't know how to explain it. It's so heartwarming, but also like beautiful and ethereal and mystical.
Yeah.
And I really liked it.
Yeah, so I've actually read that comic too. It's like
you did?
Yeah, I read Lady of the Shard. It's yeah, so the artist also does Cucumber Quest, if you guys are familiar with that. But it's like super different from Cucumber Quest. It's kind of like
completely different.
Yeah. The style is very like it's a lot more experimental than Cucumber Quest. Cucumber Quest is kind of like a sort of made for print, sort of for kids, for kids comic, like a sort of fantasy adventure. You know, it's cute and like good in its own way, but it's sort of like more conventional. And this one is a little more experimental. It does like sort of an infinite canvas.
Right.
Which is basically like you keep scrolling and there's no like sort of line between pages and things like
And
that.
I love the free-flowing nature of it. It's great. It's so interactive. You can like go left and right, pan out and stuff. It depends on the size of your browser, of course, but you know, I like that interactivity. It's also mostly black on gray, or like, sorry,
Gray on black, right?
It's mostly gray on black, and it's beautifully done, so it kind of reflects the atmosphere of the story.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things I really liked about it, was that like the whole, like most of the comic is like black, you know, like there's just like very like you sort of see some like the lines of the characters, but it's like a black sort of background, and then you see like the sketchy lines of the characters, and then like sometimes solid grays and things like that. And it totally like I can see that comic like that comic could have been like, you know, white, black on white, you know, totally standard. It would have looked good, but like having it be like gray makes it look so much more like not mystical, but very like, oh, they're in space, and like it's sort of like much more grand, I guess. It's kind of
It's almost kind of like an origin story. So starting from a dark black planar background, that kind of like leads to the like more it leads to something bigger like later, and I really like that.
Sounds really unique.
Yeah, it is
Like
very unique.
the art style, I can't picture it quite.
And it's kind of like a, you know, almost like Microsoft Paint, because it's like,
I think it's like a little pixely sort of.
Is it anti-aliased?
Or no, it's
aliased.
aliased. Anti-aliased is the one where you sort of like have like gray pixels surrounding your black pixels.
I should know this, but I get confused with the terms all the time. So it's
No
alias.
worries. I think
Yeah.
maybe I'm wrong. Someone can like yell at me in the comments. But I'm pretty sure aliased is the one where it's like sort of like hard edges.
Yeah.
So yeah, the sort of hard edges too. It sort of has like it's definitely sort of like an origin story. And I feel like certain panels of it almost make me think of like old games or something, but like not like 8-bit, but like sort of like, you know, those games that had like very sort of lovingly rendered like pixel art, you know.
Yeah, I actually thought it was pixel art at first because of like the angular surface, but then it turned into freeform, and I like that.
Yeah, so you'll see it like the comic starts like a certain way, and you'll see that the color is actually used really well, like as the story goes on. And I don't know, I feel like the scope was also really good, like just like the scope of the story was huge. And it gets like super big by the end of it.
Yeah, let's not forget to mention the inclusion of gigantic women, goddesses, and lesbian love, because
See you turn into a giant woman, a giant woman.
Okay.
I felt like I knew the next part, but I didn't.
It's alright.
Yeah, so Steven Universe thank you, Steven Universe. It might have inspired this, and if it did,
I hope
thank
so.
you.
I love it.
Steven Universe is so good too.
Yeah.
Oh, it came back last week.
It
It was
did.
great.
Oh my god. Wait, last week?
Yeah, it came out
What
March
day is it?
12th.
Yeah, wait.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, can I say
Thursday.
a spoiler for the March 12th?
No, don't
This is
spoil
so
it for
bad.
her.
Okay, I won't spoil
No,
it.
I've
But it
already
was-
seen it, but I mean,
Okay, I won't.
Steven Universe spoilers, like, if I had heard them, I would have been really mad because it's been such a long hiatus.
I know, it's been a really long hiatus.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, like, the more comics that are, you know, I love sort of like these sort of comics that are like very ethereal and like sci-fi, and also sort of like, there's like, I guess there is like gender sexuality themes in it, which is cool. And
I mean, we definitely need those.
yeah. The artist also like sort of described it as being very self-indulgent, like the story.
Yeah.
And you'll see why if you read it. It's like there is like certain scenes you're like, oh.
Honestly, I did not mind. I really loved it.
Yeah, no, it was great. It's honestly like an awesome comic. And it's like, it's not so self-indulgent that you feel like, oh, like this story makes no sense.
Or it wasn't
like,
necessary.
Or
it was necessary.
Yeah, it was necessary. And it actually felt like it fit the story, you know? Like the story was sort of like, yeah, like it had, like, even though you can tell, like, oh, this scene was probably something the author was into, or, you know, people were into it, like, it still sort of fit, and, like, I feel like the story was, like, sort of more enjoyable for it, because, like, I think if an artist enjoys what they're making, then, you know, more power, right?
It comes out lovely.
Yep.
Did you like it?
I wasn't able to read it.
What? You really should read it. It's, like, actually,
Yeah,
so,
like, I
it's
mean-
also, like, complete, so.
You guys are like selling it to me right now. Like as you're talking about it, I'm like, oh, okay. So I have to go back, not study, read all of
It
this.
won't take you too long. It only
Yeah.
took me 2 sittings. Like, a couple, like, you know, barely 2 hours, 3
Yeah,
hours.
it's, like, maybe, yeah, it's, like, a pretty, not short, but it is, like, sort of like a good read.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hitting a lot of my points what I've heard so far. Because if the art sounds very like unique, I don't think surreal is the right word for it.
It
but
is surreal.
Surreal, yeah, because this is the feeling I was getting from it. And then when you include like gender and sexuality themes, like it's just perfect for me.
It is.
I love people who just like question that shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, can I cuss on this?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm definitely going back and doing that instead of my homework.
Homework is for suckers anyway.
For squares.
Squares.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we got in here, guys.
Lol.
So I'll include the link for that in the description below.
All right, moving on to my recommendation. So I'm going to be also recommending a super cute webcomic, Balderdash, which is a super cute fantasy slice of life comic that's focused on 2 girls, Afia and Georgie. So Afia is a witch who is on a quest to learn high magic, and Georgie is somebody who renounces magic in order to become a traditional baker's apprentice. So this comic is like really, really cute and sort of like calming to read. It's like has this really gorgeous lineless artwork and super beautiful use of color. There's a lot of really like nice details in it too. I think the artist like takes some time sometimes to like make like recipe pages for it
Yeah.
too, so you'll like see some like, oh, Georgie is baking this, and you can like make it yourself, and like those types of things.
That's so cute.
It's super super
really
cute. It's like
cute.
really like a super calming read. Every time I read it, it's like I feel like nice. It's sort of like
Yeah.
you're taking a bath or something. You know, it just like relaxes you. And so it's still ongoing, and it's a little bit slow to update. That's probably like the only thing. But the artist is like, she's working too. It's not her full-time job or anything. And it's still like there's enough of a backlog that you can like have a nice time like reading it.
Unless you're like me, in which case I read all of it in like, one sitting, and then I waited 2 weeks for her to update, I think 3 pages, and I just died.
She goes page by page.
Yeah,
that's how she
page by
updates it.
page.
Oh, that's
most
the
webcomics
worst.
are like this.
Yeah.
Because of the the amount of
Well,
work.
I've
that they
done
have
like
otherwise.
like the few ones I've read, they've done it like that. But I thought like, oh, maybe it's just them.
No, it's
'Cause
usually
I'm-
like that.
I'm still
Yeah.
exploring webcomics. Like I
Yeah.
only have a few under my belt.
The thing about webcomics, I mean, obviously for the vast majority of people making webcomics, it is like it's like a labor of love. So they're doing it on top of school or on top of work and things like
Yeah.
that. And so, like in that, like when you're in that sort of situation, like it's hard to make like a 200-page graphic novel,
Right.
because it's just like so much work, and like that's sort of why page by page gives you a little more like reward each time you put in something, because
you're right.
it's sort of like, oh, each time you make a page, it's not like, oh, great, like 190 pages to go,
Yeah.
right? It's sort of like you upload it and you get some nice comments,
Uh-huh.
and you get like, likes, reblogs, etc. And it's sort of like, oh, that's motivation to keep you going, because,
Yeah.
if you're not getting paid, then you kind of sort of need the motivation you can get. So, like, from the artist's perspective, I totally understand page by page. From a reader's perspective, it's obviously, like, sort of frustrating. But that's sort of also why I kind of, like, usually what I do is I kind of catch up with webcomics all at once, and then I just wait a while, and then I sort of catch up again. I don't, like, usually keep up, like, every time. But
That's what I try, but then I see a new page is out.
Yeah,
And then
and then,
it's like
you
so
know.
quick, like, oh, just gotta read this one page, and then it's
Yeah.
gone, and then you have to keep waiting.
Yep.
Yep.
I didn't know you were doing Balderdash this week, and I love Balderdash. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I'm a really big fan. I think it's been going for like a couple years now, and I don't know, yeah, it's just like so nice to read. I feel like it's just like the aesthetic of it is just like something that
It's good.
does a heart good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does the author have a Tumblr? I feel like the art is so reminiscent. I might just accidentally be following him or her already.
I think so. Here, wait, let me see if I can find it. real
Or
quick.
they.
Or they.
Are they? Creator of Balderdash. This is their Twitter. I'm not sure. Actually, now I don't know. But yeah, definitely I think they've been doing art for a while. Her name is Victoria Grace Elliott, and I guess she does have a Tumblr here.
Oh, wow. It's so colorful.
Yeah, we're like looking at the
So
art now.
cute.
It's super cute.
Yeah.
It's just like very like, yeah, it's just like very pleasing and like just nice to look at.
It makes me think of the word soft.
Oh,
Yes,
you're right.
very soft.
It's so
Yeah, it's
soft,
soft.
and cuddly.
Soft. It sort of has like a Ghibli vibe too, or
Yeah.
like Studio Ghibli. Like it's the webcomic does, in that it's sort of like a fantasy world that's sort of like not carefree, but it's not like a super serious fantasy world, or it's not like a Lord of the Rings type thing. It's sort of like a, things kind of go at their own pace. It's sort of like a Kiki's Delivery Service type thing, where like, there is fantasy, but it's like still like a normal world, and things are sort of peaceful. And I love that sort of
It makes your
vibe.
heart feel good.
Yeah, it does.
Like, it's a very specific type of, like, vibe that I don't think everyone can do. And when someone does do it well, it's just great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really think what makes her work stand out in that way is that she has like, so there's like, the style is simple, like the faces are simple, but there's like all these like small little details that really enrich the world. So it's not like, it's not boring or anything. There's still like, it's just sort of like you can marvel in it and like not worry about like, it's not like, oh, we have like plots and like, all these things to do and stuff, right? It's sort of like, oh, you can just like take your time and sort of enjoy the world. So I really
that's
like
great.
that.
I do wish that there were more recipes, but that's just because I love reading recipes in
I'm
that
such a
stylistic
fan.
way. It's
Yeah.
great.
I love like cooking comics and things like that.
Oh my gosh, we need to talk about more cooking comics.
We should just have a
if
cooking
you
comic
know.
episode.
Yeah.
Should we just like talk about our
Yeah.
favorite cooking comics?
Just cooking
And
everything.
also like, yeah, wait, honestly guys, I might, I want to do like a cooking
Okay.
everything, because I also love so many like cooking YouTube channels. I would love to just talk about cooking YouTube channels.
That would be great.
Anyway, so
So I chose Excited Feelings or Fluttering Feelings. I've heard it called both. It's a Korean webcomic by Saba, and it basically follows the lives of two college students, Kim No-rae and Bak Soel. I can't speak Korean, so it's probably butchered, but it's a slice of life, and kind of just shows their lives, their daily struggles, like family, like college work, and their friendship. And a lot of the comic is about their friendship and like how different events help them get closer. Also just natural friendship, like when you naturally get closer to someone, like it's a really good slice of life because it does just kind of feel like life. Also, like their friendship begins to develop into a little bit more, like they develop feelings for each other. And it's a really good comic because it shows like two girls who are kind of aware that they're attracted to their same-sex friend, but they're not really sure how their friend would feel about that. And it's very frustrating as a reader, though, because you know they'd like each other, but they are both insecure about it. They want to make sure they don't cross any boundaries.
yeah.
Dude, that's super hard, but also that sounds so cute.
Yeah.
I read
they're
5
so
chapters or
cute.
so.
I read some of it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cute. It's like...
It's soft. It's pretty.
It's soft is right. It's soft. It's pretty. It's kind of calm. I mean, there's like... I mean, I think in the first few chapters, like, Soal gets, like, harassed by her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, and then, like,
Honestly, that part was so hard for me to read. I kind of like expected it to happen, but I also wanted to just focus on like, you know, their relationship. I don't need this extra conflict. I'm gonna cry.
I mean, like, that happens in so many, like,
Yeah.
if you watch, like, dramas, or if you watch, like, you know, if you, like, those types, there's always, like, stupid, extraneous stuff. Like, there's always gotta be some shitty ex-boyfriend that's gotta, like, go in and, like, take up a bunch of chapters.
Why won't you date me?
I mean, he's resolved pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, like,
he
that's
is.
good. That's
It's
what makes me
pretty much-
happy.
Yeah.
Good.
I feel like this one,
Storyline.
like, Korean dramas do that all the time, but this one doesn't do it as often. Like, most
Good.
conflicts are pretty resolved. Like, there's a couple chapters where they do have, like, a serious fight, but it is, like, a friendship fight where, like,
okay.
they, you know, like, friends
Alright.
fight.
Yeah.
They, like, resolve it in the normal amount of time, in, like, a normal manner.
Good.
Yeah.
Talking. Yeah.
Yeah, and as
Yes.
you're saying about, like, sort of, like, oh, like, they're sort of, like, hesitant to, or they, like each other, but they don't know that the other one likes each other. It's, like, in a way, like, that totally annoys me, and, like, most, like, if you watch, like, rom-coms, or if you watch things like that, always annoys me. I'm like, just, god damn it, you
Just
know?
tell each other.
But in a way, it almost, because since it is, like, a same-sex couple, it almost, like, it's a little more justified, just because I know that, like, especially for girls, it's so, you know, usually you're just, like, friends with girls, and it's, like, you know, you'd have to be in a very specific, like, environment, like a gay bar or something, for it to be, like, you know, anything else to be insinuated, usually. So, in a way, it's like, okay, I could maybe see that working a little better in, like, a lesbian comic, as opposed to other comics. But it's still like, we get it.
It's still
just, like,
frustrating.
just kiss, god damn it.
They've been so close, guys. You do not know the struggle.
Oh
Like,
my
they've been
God.
so close, and then, like, something happens, and they, like, oh, like, wait, was we leaning in, or, like, were we just, like, close? Like,
God damn it.
to be fair, like, both of them, like, in the series, they both know the other one has, like, an ex-boyfriend, so they're not actually sure if their orientation is, like,
Right.
what, are you attracted to women
That
at
makes
all?
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I know for, like bisexual girls or lesbians, like, they feel uncomfortable coming out to their female friends, even ones they're not attracted to, because they're worried that they might make them uncomfortable. So imagine coming out to your female friend who you are, like,
Yikes.
I like
Yeah.
girls, specifically
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, not just any girl. You,
Yeah.
girl. Yeah. No, definitely that's, like, yeah.
So
I think there's like sort of like a real life basis for, like, why there would be that, like, a misunderstanding, and yeah,
it's not like the usual, like, where they're just so dense and you want to punch them.
when they're so dense.
I hate that.
And you're just
hate
like,
dense characters in general.
I know. It's just because, like, the plot has to keep going.
Yeah.
That's why they just, like, we gotta, like, you know, artists gotta make money. Like, we gotta have this go on longer.
Lengthen it.
But then there's, like,
Lengthen it.
so much
Kill me.
sexual tension because they
Yeah.
both like each
I
other,
know.
but they're not sure.
Okay, tell
That
me one thing. Do they
UST.
sleep in a bed together and, like, as friends?
Yes.
Of
They
course
do. Of course they do.
They do.
Please.
They do.
Sleep in a bed together
Yes.
as friends.
Well, because also another part of it, like, this is a Korean webtoon, and Korean friendships have a lot of skinship in it.
Whoa.
So like, you know, like
Skinship.
Skinship. Oh, skinship sounds scandalous, but
Yeah,
it means
it does.
like they'll like hold hands with their female friends or like hold each other's arms,
Oh.
or like even guys will like pat each other's like butts and stuff, and it's cool.
Like football players.
Yeah,
Dang.
like yeah, but it's like all guys in Korea, and like
Wow,
girls will do
interesting.
too. So that's like it's also tough for them too, because like I've seen girls like
Girls
pat.
slap each other's
Yeah.
asses.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Damn,
like
girl.
you never seen
Damn,
like
girl.
K-pop stars like pat the other's butt.
Oh,
Like you've
maybe.
never seen that?
I've seen that, I
It's
think.
like a good job, and like they pat their
Dang.
butt. Different
That's like-
culture.
It's like
different culture.
Apparently that happens in like sports. I've
Yeah,
heard that
a lot.
happens in sports. I'm like, oh, that's so weird. But then I guess like everyone does it. I don't know.
It's so weird because sports is like so masculine,
Yeah.
and masculinity is part of heterosexuality, and part of heterosexuality is not touching another guy.
If you guys watch like Turkish mud wrestling or something like that, there's like a specific sport that's called like Turkish. Here, let's see if I can find the exact title.
Is it like
Turkish mud.
homoerotic?
It's I think it goes a little past homoerotic.
Whoa.
It's like hands down pants, like the whole thing,
Oh.
and it's like a sport.
I've seen
Um,
oil wrestling.
Yeah, see, this is like hands down the pants, like wham.
Dang.
But it's so weird because they think they're so masculine.
We're looking at images. Of
Now we're just kind of
really
looking at like
oily
softcore
guys.
right now.
Yeah,
We're
softcore
basically-
oily guys like throwing each other on the mud and stuff.
None of them are my type though, so
Yeah.
What?
I don't like muscular
What
guys.
in the world is happening? Why
See,
does
look,
he have his
I don't know
hands
why
up
this
his
Oh my
pants?
god, he's like going down.
Whoa.
Oh,
Alright.
yikes.
This is not an appropriate episode.
Okay.
It's okay. They can't see the pictures.
Okay, but
Can't go through the microphone. I know. I feel like this episode has gone all sorts of places.
Yes.
Bestiality, mud wrestling.
Having sex with bears.
Anyway, but honestly, guys, all the comics we recommended were really wholesome.
Yes.
We're like, it's just us that are terrible people.
Yeah.
The comics are great,
They're
and
great.
they're like,
Like this is a Yuri, and I usually like am very cautious with Yuri because it can go from like 0 to 100 where I like you, and then they're like having sex, and they're and then I have to like log out because I don't like the eroticization of homosexuality.
Yeah.
But this is like very like, oh, like this is a romance, and they're both girls.
yeah.
Yes. Emphasis on romance.
Yes,
Yes,
it's a
emphasis
romance.
on romance.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like definitely like something that, you know, if you watch lesbian porn or like things like that, and you're like, oh, like this is clearly not made for lesbians. You know, like there's certain
No.
things that are just
Yeah.
like that, and you're just like, you know,
It's made for men,
Yeah.
essentially.
yeah.
Like, because men who think they have like the privilege to watch women's sexuality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But this isn't like that. This is made for.
None of these comics are like that. They're great.
They're great.
Lady the Shard is great. It's like Lady the Shard. It's like I don't want to say it's like. It is like there is like sexuality in it, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's very like.
So cute.
So cute. I mean, it's not cute. It's like
well, love.
can't-
Sex is part of love.
Yeah.
Like
I
yeah.
mean, you can't strike out any part of it. It's just cute. Just let it happen.
just let it happen.
Just let them love each other.
I know. When you
Yeah.
feel like that in the comic, and you're just like, ah, they love each other.
Yes.
It's the
But
best.
they don't realize. Or I don't know. Is Lady of the Shard? Are they aware of each other's feelings?
Well, I mean, like it's because it's
Spoiler?
short. It's
Okay.
spoiler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Let's
read
just-
it, guys.
I'll-
Just read it. You'll see how
I'll
it.
read it.
It doesn't end the way you'll think either.
They both die.
Well, no. Let's not end it on. Let's not end the podcast saying they both die.
they're not
It's
gonna-
false.
This is my
That's
guess.
wrong.
This is my guess. I'm
That's-
betting on it.
No.
Okay, well you can bet on it, but you're
Just
gonna be
read it.
wrong, and people are gonna be mad at you in the comments
Yeah.
of this podcast. They're gonna be like, "You can't say that. They don't. It's wrong." But yeah. Thank you for your recommendation, Natalie. If any of you listeners out there have any recommendations for us to talk about on our podcast next week, feel free to tweet us at SnappleGel, that's SNAPPLE gel, or email us at milkytart@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening to this week's Honey Tomato podcast. This is a little bonus for you guys, but I'm sure as some of you know, Love Live just updated to the 3.0. That is to say, the English version of Love Live is now 3.1, which, yeah, so this has been a long time coming. As someone who has been waiting since, like, forever, and also they said it was going to happen in April, and it is now May 16th. So, first of all, they're late, but second of all, it's happened. So, it's happened, yeah. So, it's 3.0 now, guys.
Honestly, can we just talk about, like, what just happened, like, before we start recording this?
Okay, so basically we just stopped recording, and I was going to talk to Helen about 3.0 because I'm so, like, I just got, like, 20 love gems in, like, 2 hours. It's crazy, guys.
What?
3.0 is, like, crack. Like, you just can't stop getting love gems, and then you can't just stop. You keep getting them, guys. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like, 3.0 is a hell of a drug, guys. It's crazy.
Can you explain how that mechanism, like, why are you getting 20 love gems in 1 hour?
Okay,
like,
so
what?
basically now that you're in 3.0, which is basically, like, freaking, like, I don't even know how to explain why 3.0 is so much better than anything that Love Live was before. It's like we were Love Live Amish before, and now we're, like, in Love Live New York City. Basically now you have goals, which is to say, like, you have daily goals, which you have to, like, do, like, a certain amount of things, like, super easy, and at the end of them you get, like, a love gem every day. Every day you get a freaking love gem with your daily goals.
Okay.
So there's that. Then you can also get, you have goals of, like, if you play a song once, just an easy song or whatever, you get a love gem. If you play...
What? An
Yes.
easy song?
As in, yeah, they have, like, sort of, like, because I've played the game long enough, I have all these songs already, so they
Okay.
were like, oh, if you play, like, this song that was, like, freaking forever ago, just once, you get a love gem. And it's like, wow, okay, yeah, sure, I'll just do that and get a love gem. And then they put another song that I already have and get a love gem. And it's just, like, I've been doing that for, like, past couple hours. And now you can, like, if you get full combos, you get a love gem. If you clear live shows 25 times, according to this thing, you get a love gem. And if you practice away members, you get a love gem. It's like, you can get love gems just by existing. Just by
No, I'm
existing.
joking.
Just by existing. And, like, pressing okay. That's all you can do. Like,
Well, why do you need love gems?
so you can scout. Okay,
Right.
Natalie is like if I was Love Live Amish before, Natalie was like Love Live Caveman. And she didn't know anything. Basically, how the game works is it's I opened this and she's like, "Is this a dating sim?" Love Live is not a freaking dating sim. It is a rhythm game.
She was very upset.
I was so upset. I was like, "This is a rhythm game,
It's
Natalie."
it's like Love Life, and then like
Very
I see a cute girl. I'm like, this looks like a dating.
First of all, her
sim.
name is Miko. Not just any cute girl. It's Miko. And second of all, that's like a bad card to come up at that time. Anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, so the way the game works is that you, like, you know, you play your games, and then you can also, like, you play your games using cards, and the different cards have, like, different benefits. So,
Mostly the benefit is looking at a cute girl in a costume, but
no.
yes.
You also can get
Is this-
perfect locked, which means, like, all your, like, if you, like, break your combo, you can also not break your combo by using a perfect lock card, or you can heal, or you can boost your score. Yeah.
This is a game for guys because I
It's
see a
not
lot
a
of cute
game for
girls.
guys. I play it, so it's a game for me, okay? It's my game now. I don't care whose game it was before, but it's mine now. Yeah, anyway. There's a lot of girls who play Love Live, actually. But anyway, so then you can scout. And scouting is basically when you get more cards. And you want ultra rares or SRs or super rares. But most of the time you get rares. But now, in 3.0, you can use those rares and sell them away. And you can get the chance to get more SRs or
What,
ultra
really?
rares. Yes,
That
you can
sounds
sell them
good.
away now. In the seal
I've
shop.
always wanted to sell. And I never got to sell.
You can sell out now with 3.0. It's great.
You can sell out
Nice.
Yep.
Sell your
And-
girls. That's
Yeah.
bad.
some prostitution.
Don't say that.
Dude, you mostly, like, eat them. I feel like the
Eat
like
them?
Yeah, it's like sacrificial lamb shit going on because you, like, feed your cards to the
Your
other
bad
cards.
to your good cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, this is
But
like
thank you for
Soup
that.
Revolution.
Yeah, it is. Thank you for that wonderful explanation of what Love Live is. The
So-
sophisticated rhythm game.
It
As you
is,
said.
okay, guys? You don't understand. The Love Live community is strong and amazing. And we all braved through the huge wait for 3.0 just now. And now it's here. And the next event is going to be a bloodbath because now we have Overflow LP.
Dang.
And that means that next time everyone levels up, they basically get LP that goes past their gauge. So that means that they'll be able to play infinitely, basically, for the yeah. And that's gonna be an issue because during events, that's like LP is the only thing that determines how many times people can play.
Yeah.
But now that people can have potentially unlimited amount of LP, yeah, the tiers are gonna be off the whack, off
Whoa.
the charts. It's gonna be crazy. And now that everyone's getting like all like shit ton of love gems, and they're gonna be spending it on LP for this Nico event, it's gonna be a bloodbath, guys. I'm just saying. I'm glad I'm not going for that card because I'm saving up.
All
I'm
right.
saving up.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Yeah, it's been a good couple hours since
It's been a couple hours.
Yeah, it's been a couple hours since it updated. So I just downloaded it, and I've been getting all my new titles. I now have all. You can also put little titles on your profile now.
Okay, Charlotte's crazy.
I'm not crazy.
She really likes this game.
I've been waiting for this for so long. They said it was going to come out last month, and then it came out today, the 16th of May, which we said at the beginning of the episode. But it was supposed to come out in April. So,
Okay.
and now it's out. And I'm happy. Anyway, that was the Love Live update.
All right. Well, that's it. Bye. See you next week.